Hi, my name is Justin Myers and I'm the garden coordinator for Recipe for Success. Today I'm here with my friends Gabriel, Anaya, and Arrington. We're going to talk today about worms and building a worm habitat. Worms are one of probably the most unique components of the garden world and one of my favorite activities to do with kids. And it's one of those things that can be done indoors or outdoors, and whether you have a yard or you don't, it provides an excellent resource for your garden and kind of practices conservation as opposed to kind of throwing things in the garbage. You can reuse that and turn it into something beneficial for your garden. So today we're going to build a worm habitat and show you how to do it step by step. So there are 4 components of a habitat. You have shelter, food, water, space. The first up is the shelter, and you can go the route of buying an official box, kind of like a worm factory or worm hotel. Or if you want to go the baseline, you can just get a simple Rubbermaid. And there's plenty of models and plans on the internet if you want to get into that. But the absolute basic, you just need the simple box with a simple lid, and you can create a worm habitat. The second component is our food. Now the wonderful thing about worms is they'll basically eat anything that is leftover kitchen scrap. Banana peel, eggshells, tea bags, old greens. But really your simple kind of like raw vegetable scraps are perfect. So water plays a delicate role in a worm's life because if things are too wet in the box, it actually causes them to leave the box and potentially die. But they also need a nice kind of moist environment because their body is made up of 90% of water, and they breathe through their skin. So a moist environment is key for a healthy worm box. And the last component of our habitat is space, and we're going to use newspaper to help create space within our box. Okay, so the first step in making our habitat is we're going to tear our newspaper into 1 to 2 inch strips. The second step is you're going to dunk the strip of paper into the water, hold it up, and then you're going to use your fingers to gently squeegee any of that extra water off. So your newspaper is moist, but it's not dripping wet. So after your paper has been dunked into the water, you're going to come over, gently lay it into the worm box. We're going to create a grid pattern and kind of build up layer by layer as we go. So as you build the box, you want to make sure to alternate the direction of each layer. So you can start off with a horizontal layer, and then the next one is going to go vertical. And this will create a nice space within each layer for worms to move and also oxygen for the worms to breathe. And then it also will make it easy to add food to your box later on. After you have multiple layers built up in your box, you can add food. So you're going to peel back the top layers to get to a nice middle space. You can add in your vegetable scraps. Then whenever you add food, you want to make sure it's really well covered. One of the main problems sometimes that worm boxes encounter is that there's too much food or it's not well covered, and so it starts to get kind of funky or attract fruit flies. Worms can be sourced online. You can get them about 2,000 worms for around $20 to $30. Or if you have a local garden group, you can ask to see if anyone's a worm composter or a vermicomposter at home, and they can kind of give you a starting supply of worms that will then quickly multiply and build out your worm box. Our last step is just to gently place the cover on top. And it's good not to seal it too tight. You can kind of just leave it right on top so then there's airflow for the worms. Now we have our complete worm habitat that we can use not only to reuse our kitchen scraps, but also create something beneficial for our garden at home. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.